Ladies and gentlemen, it is once again time for another episode of Brawl News, your favorite spot to get all the comings and goings in the Brawl Stars community that you might not know about, but might want to know about. And oh boy, do we have stuff to talk about today. We have a brand new photo that was posted to the Brawl Stars social medias, and if you watch my videos, you already know we're going to be breaking that down in its entirety to see if there's any hidden Easter eggs, which I think there might be a few. We had an amazing community roundtable posted over on Lex's channel yesterday, where a lot of very interesting things were mentioned, and confirming by Danny, one of the bigger things that they talked about will be coming sooner than we thought. We're going to be going over what I think that thing might be, as well as a few other things today. So hope you guys are all pumped up. Let's get straight away into it. Here we go! So first things first, of course, we gotta get our YouTuber things out of the way. If you guys have not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure to do so, especially if you enjoy these types of videos. I try my best to keep you all in the loop. 60% of you aren't subscribed. That is a big number, guys. A big number. And then finally, if you guys want to support me any further, using code RAY in the Brawl Stars shop is most definitely the best way to do so. It helps out so much, so I appreciate all the love that you guys send my way in the shop. But with all of that out of the way, we are beginning today's video off over here on Twitter, where as you can see, 3 short hours ago, Brawl Stars tweeted out over on their social medias a very interesting picture, along with, "You are in charge of the Brawl Stars team for a day. What would you do first?" Guys, if it were up to your boy, star power and gadget glitches would be back in the game wickety split, I'll promise you that much. But in all seriousness, it's time to break down this photo in its entirety to see if there's any Easter eggs to pull away from it, giving us a little bit of context as to what might be coming in this next update. So to start off with the bigger things, pointing out the obvious here, Spike is a very predominant figure in the photo, right? He is smack dab right in the middle of the screen, along with oodles of different smaller references. The very first one being the trophy that Brawl Stars gave to us for the best community award, guys. You gotta love it. But there are plenty more. We have the Spike sock, the infamous Spike sock that always pops up in the game. We have Spikes pinning up some of his notes on the wall. We have the cactus plant there on the desk, and probably my favorite out of all of them, and that's the book in the top left-hand corner of the screen, Spike quotes. And it's so ironic that it's the thickest book and Spike does not have voice lines. One that isn't as obvious as the others is the keys that fell off the keyboard that Spike is currently munching on spell out Spike. So we have S-K-I-P-E, but if you arrange them correctly, it's Spike. Now, some people are saying since Spike is getting so many heavy references in this photo that something significant might come his way in this next update, whether that's he's actually getting voice lines or something else, we don't quite know yet. But with the Spike stuff out of the way, it's next time to get into some of the more Easter egg related things in the photo. The very first one my eyes drifted to is the notes on the wall. As you can see, we have 2 little notepads saying nerf and buff. For the nerfs, we have Jesse. Guys, if I were a guessing man, maybe Jesse is getting a nerf in the next update. And then maybe conflicting with the viability of this buff and nerf list, we have buff everyone else. So maybe this implies that we're getting a pretty decent list of balance changes in this next update whenever it comes out, or maybe it's just because Spike took the reins of Brawl Stars for the day. You never know. But moving along to the final bit of notes here on the wall, we have bigger implementations that happen in the past for Brawl Stars. We have gadgets, we have map maker, brawl pass, and daily missions, also known as quests. So they're crossed out because they're already implemented into the game, I believe. But then the final thing, not yet crossed out, is something else. So like I mentioned in the update prediction video a few days ago, there should be some sort of bigger implementation in this next update if we're going off of previous updates that fall in between 2 seasons of the Brawl Pass. In these midway updates, we typically get the same staple things: a new brawler, some new skins, more recently animated pins, a list of balance changes, but then there leaves one bigger implementation that's kind of the catch of the update other than the hype new brawlers. So for the Amber update, we received Mapmaker, and for the Byron and Edgar update, we got an additional brawler, one more than we usually get, right? We got 2, and it was free. That's pretty big. So based on this list that's in the background, I could see this something else being this next bigger implementation coming out in the update. What that is, we can get into a little bit later, thanks to the community roundtable that was posted yesterday, and Danny saying this specifically.
I said something here that will happen rather soon.
But before we get into what I think that next next bigger thing is going to be. Let's finish up the breakdown of this photo. So the next bigger thing my eyes drifted to is this small calendar that Spike has on his desk. So of course this calendar is missing a few days out of the month, but if we're taking this as somewhat of a date Easter egg like we have in the past, the circles land on both the 6th as well as the 14th. Now, I really enjoyed that the calendar is smaller because in and of itself, I think it confirms to a certain degree that the update should be coming out in the first half of March, right? Or in some bizarre world, this could be the second half of the calendar, but I think it makes more sense to be the first half, right? So with the 2 circles falling on both the 6th and the 14th, I think it gives us a few different fun options to play around with. Number 1, something significant is going to be coming out on the 6th, whether that's the Brawl Talk or some sort of other sneak peek related thing to the update, much like we're getting today with this photo. And then if that's the case, maybe the actual update will be coming out on the 14th, the other circle date. Now, if none of this comes to fruition, if nothing comes out on the 6th, then we might be getting the Brawl Talk on the 14th and then the update shortly arriving after that. So we have 2 options. If nothing comes out on the 6th, then it might be coming out on the 14th. So mark those dates on your calendar nonetheless. The next smaller thing that I noticed is we might be getting a small sneak peek as to what the background of this update might change into. We have like a smiley face skull there in the background, or a laughing or grinning, I'm not quite sure. We have stars as well and trophies, and then there's another weird icon back here that doesn't repeat itself right above the flower on Spike's head. It looks like a loading sign, half of a loading sign, I'm not quite sure. But other than that, it's pretty consistent throughout. There's a few other things such as the peep clock back here, which clocks in the past have been subject to a lot of different theory crafting and different Easter eggs and things like that, but I don't know if it's anything significant. And the only other thing that I found somewhat bizarre is the golden star point down here, where typically it's purple, and the other currency that are in this photo follow its color palette, right? We have the gold coins and the blue token doublers, but the star point is the only unusual one, so take that however you like. And the only other things that I'm going to bring up about the calendar is I'm not quite sure what the X's are. It might be a play off of tic-tac-toe here, maybe trying to illegitimize the circles on the calendar, basically making us second guess whether or not the circles are significant dates or not, or they're just a part of the tic-tac-toe game, making us question it, right? And then finally, we have hashtag Brawl map at the very bottom of the calendar, which might be a significant hashtag with this update whenever it comes around the corner. Maybe something related to the map maker, you never know. But everyone, with the photo breakdown out of the way, it is next time to get into our bigger piece of news for today's video, and that is the AMA that Lex posted over on his channel yesterday. It was a question and answer with Danny, giving us some perspective as to what we can expect in future updates or just the development of Brawl Stars. So again, probably the most shocking thing coming from the AMA is what Danny mentioned at the very end of the video. So one of the things that they were talking about is coming sooner than we thought. So the easiest way to break this down is just going over all the key points that they brought up. So the bigger key points that I took away from it that I think have a high chance of actually being this thing that Danny is talking about is a 5v5 game mode or different game modes being implemented into the game. We have Power Play 2.0, which Danny mentioned will happen eventually. We have the mention of Club Wars, which Danny clarifies that they never really promised Club Wars, but they are working on some sort of social improvements to clubs, whether that is Club Wars or something else. They got into the topic of third star powers and third gadgets, and Danny bringing up a really interesting take on this, and that is styles in the game that you can purchase.
Because I think, like, as I said, it's not a lack of ideas that we have. I'm sure we can arrange something to add over a brawler, maybe like a third star power, third gadget, maybe like a style that you change. So Shelly used to play like that, and then you buy like a different style and then she plays differently, and then imagine doing that for the 50 brawlers we have currently or something like that.
They mentioned Kit once again, and guys, I love the reasoning as to why Kit has been talked about a lot more as recently, and that's because Danny and Ryan want a cat brawler in the game. So hey, if that's the way they want to do it, they want to push the Kit onto the community, man, I am all for it. I would love a cat brawler as well. And then the final bigger thing that they mentioned is all about Star Park, and I gotta say, I'm very, very excited as to what Danny said about it, and that is they have many future plans to develop the IP of Brawl Stars and continue the universe and the lore of Brawl Stars, which I think we can all get behind, specifically saying that Star Park is not yet done. So very, very excited about that. Now the question is which one of these things makes sense to come out sooner than the others, and I think I have a good guess, but definitely still a guess. Make sure to keep that in mind. And that is Power Play 2.0 or a rework to Power Play. And the only reasoning that I have is the fact that Danny said it will happen during that question. So I don't know if that's a good way to confirm it or anything like that. It could be any of the other things that they mentioned in the AMA, but that is my guess, and we'll see if I get it right. The prediction is always fun in these types of videos. But to be honest, I'd be completely fine with any of the other things. They got into some really interesting talk about a infected game mode, or a game mode that they were trying to design for the last Brawloween update that sounded really, really interesting, and a bunch of other things. And I guess, you know what, only time will tell with this. We'll find out soon enough once the update actually does come around the corner. But yeah, everyone, everything is looking really, really interesting. Hopefully you all enjoyed the stuff that we went over in today's video. Of course, be sure to let me know what you're thinking about the things that we discussed today. I love hearing your input in videos such as this. It helps me out whenever I'm trying to think things through about the update and predict things as well. But yeah, everyone, if you did enjoy it, make sure to slap a like on it. I'd really, really appreciate that. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Keep having fun with Brawl Stars, and we'll see you in the next video. Adios, everybody.